But it's like most basic, okay? What do you gain by being a victim? And what do you gain by not being a victim?
Hello, and welcome back to Retrieving Sanity with your podcast host Keegan, and this is your podcast for all mental health, addiction, recovery issues, and topics. And I've got some questions for you. If you've ever felt broken, stuck in the past, or cut off from who you really are, do you think that healing could ever really be possible? Well, in this episode, we're here to remind you that healing isn't just possible, it's your birthright. Today's guest is living proof that healing is possible and powerful. Naomi Morad is a trauma-informed psychosomatic practitioner, international speaker, and a survivor of many things. We're going to get into that in her own terms. For the first 20 years of her life, she's lived in silence and dissociation, but everything changed when she chose to live fully, heal completely, and reclaim her truth. Through brain spotting, parts work, and inner child healing, Naomi now helps others reconnect with their bodies and rewrite the narratives that pain tried to control. Her story is one of radical transformation, and her message is clear. No matter what you've been through, healing is within reach. So, Naomi, how are you doing today?
I am great. Very excited to be here, Keegan. Thank you.
Of course. You've got one heck of a story, and not only that, but you've turned it into helping so many other people that have either been through something similar or just feel like they're in the darkness and there's no way out. But like, how did you get to this point? What brought you, how did Naomi get made? You know?
How did I get to this point? Well, growing up, I always knew that something went awfully wrong in my life. I just didn't know what it was. And I reached a turning point in my life by the time I was 28, after I'd been depressed for, I don't know, since my mid-teens. I suffered from severe depression. I was manic depressed. I was up or down, and I didn't know why. I just walked around with that feeling that something had gone awfully wrong, but I was so deeply dissociated that I had absolutely no memories of my childhood. Like I remembered like day-to-day things, I had like two lives. One was where, wake up, you go to school, you come home, you have lunch, you have dinner, you meet with your friends. And then there was the other life where I was severely abused. And I can talk about that more if it's relevant.
Yeah.
And every time the abuse was happening, I basically switched off and dissociated, and that whole other side of my life was basically non-existent in my consciousness. It was in my subconsciousness, and it affected everything I did without understanding what's driving me.
Okay.
And by the time I was 27, I was severely depressed, and it wasn't manic depression anymore where like I had my ups and downs. It was just down. And after 8 months, I finally was ready to seek out help. And I learned about my depression. I learned what triggers it, and I learned what it means to shift my awareness and learn about my patterns and my behaviors, which was huge for me at the time. And I was like learning to backtrack. Every time I found myself depressed, I had to understand what had triggered it. I understood there's a connection to what happens in my everyday life. It could be something someone said. It could be someone cutting the line right in front of me at the post office. Something as simple as that. And I would come home totally depressed, and I'm like, why am I so depressed? And like learning to understand, oh, this little trigger, that's what did it. And once I was able to understand the connection, the trigger, the depression would dissolve within the same second. It was amazing. And I found that same pattern, like when I would get a sore throat, and I would try to think, okay, what is that sore throat about? And I would say, okay, this and this happened. The second I understood it, I wasn't sick anymore.
Huh.
So I started to understand that I can affect my well-being
Huh. Just by thinking?
just by understanding the root cause, understanding
Ooh.
what triggered what.
Okay. Huh. So just by understanding, you started to gain control of it, right?
Yes. Not in every aspect of my life, but yes, it was my first steps to understanding that there's a trigger and effect, okay? There's a cause and effect.
Yeah.
And once I had figured that out, the next thing that happened was that my childhood memories started to surface. And I remembered being sexually abused, trafficked, ritual abuse for the first 20 years of my life, ongoing from shortly after I was born until I left my parents' house. Once the second memory came up, I found myself driving home. I already had 2 kids at the time.
Okay.
And I think this might be an interesting point for listeners because I was happily married already for a couple of years. I had 2 children. I wasn't lacking anything physical in my life. I had a husband who loved and adored me until today. We're married. And I couldn't understand why I was so deeply unhappy, why I kept falling into my depression.
Yeah.
And the reason I mention that is because often we don't understand why we cannot seem to be able to enjoy our lives, why we cannot truly move on with our lives, and either we sabotage ourselves then as a result.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
And even if we don't do it consciously, like, it's like those old patterns those feelings of not feeling worthy and not being good enough and not feeling lovable, they catch up with us, and we sort of, these limiting beliefs fulfill themselves and then ruin our lives. So I was in a place where I just couldn't understand why I was so miserable.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm coming back to that moment where I'm driving home, and I was in such grief and overwhelm and disbelief over the memories that had started to surface. And I had remembered very little at that point in time. And even though I knew that it was true, it was also absolutely unbearable. And I didn't know if I had the courage or the strength to live. And I was sitting in my car and I was debating whether to crash into the tree that was in front of me or not. I wanted to live or to die.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I was reminded of my children. And there was this voice inside of me that said, I can't leave them. I can't do this to them. And at the same time, I knew that I can't be with one foot in and one foot out anymore, which is like sort of the way I'd been living for many years, all that depression, all these years.
Yeah.
And I decided, okay, if I'm going to live, I'm going to live fully and completely, and I'm going to heal 100%. I don't know where my 100% came from. And every therapist I saw afterwards, I said, I'm going to heal 100%. And they all looked at me and they're like, 100%. I don't know about that, And I said, no, I know that I can do that. And basically, shortly after that, I started studying and decided that that's what I want to do. I want to help others heal. And that was 25 years ago. And it took me a good few years, to be honest, to be able to really help others. Like, I had to go through a lot of healing myself in order to be able to be present and able to be with someone throughout their whole process, healing process, support them, and without falling into my own pain.
Ooh, yeah.
Like, I was overwhelmed with
Mm-hmm.
grief and pain for a long time.
Yeah.
But I learned that it's possible to heal no matter what, honestly. And I kept studying all these years. I'm studying until today. I'm always studying. I'm always learning another angle of how to help heal, another understanding, another angle, another
perspective.
Exactly.
All that. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Different modality, different, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I love that. That's my passion.
Ooh, man, I love that. It sounds like you've done a lot of the inner work, a lot of the outer work, and you're also humble enough to sit there and say, like, yeah, it took me a good minute before I was actually ready to help everyone else. I know for my own sake, I've sat there and within probably the last year, I've been like, okay, I want to help out and do as much as I can. So it's like I'm asking for more of a liquid to pour, whenever really the whole time I've found out recently I should have been asking for a bigger like goblet to pour from, so that way it's that I can hold more. And so for me, it was all about changing that kind of mindset, and so that's what you're really focused on, is you're paying attention to what your body is saying. You're paying attention to what the unspoken parts of you are trying to say. And that's not easy to do, especially whenever you have a bunch of repressed childhood emotions come up, and so do you think that is what kept you so confined to yourself, was the childhood emotions and memories and all that?
What do you mean when you say confined to myself?
So whenever you felt so disassociated from reality and stuff like that, right? Those are the things that really just separated you from everything.
It separated me from everything, and at the same time it kept me alive. Because I would have never been able to come out sane. I sometimes ask myself, how am I sane?
Yeah.
If I wouldn't have disconnected, if I wouldn't have completely dissociated, there was no other way for me to survive.
Yeah.
So even though we think of dissociation sometimes as like something negative, that we disconnect, sometimes it's the disconnect that keeps us whole. And then when we're ready, then we start to open and work through the layers of dissociation, of that disconnect.
Oh, okay. So the disassociation is not only a coping mechanism of sorts, it is an actual tool that is actually, rather, whenever we look at it that way, it's out of balance. It's out of harmony with ourselves, right? So how did you integrate that healing into yourself?
From my own experience, from my own healing of working with so many different clients throughout the years, I have really learned that we only ever bring to consciousness whatever we're ready to cope with.
Okay.
So we work, I'm sure you've heard of that peeling an onion, that you work through the layers.
Yeah.
It literally is like that. Like someone who comes into my office with, everybody has trauma. It just plays out in different ways in their lives.
Yeah.
So they come with their story, with their pain. In the first session, we will never go right directly to the core and the heart of the deepest pain. It's not possible, because our psyche, our subconsciousness won't allow. It's like we have like
stranger danger.
Yes. It's not even. Think of it like warning systems, okay? That we have automatically built in. Like that's the vision that comes from me. Like, okay, and there's like 10 warning systems. There's much more than that. And then it's like you go to the first, And not even the first. Maybe you just go to part of the first, and then another part, until you're ready to enter the next phase, which is the second, which is deeper part of healing. And we cope with whatever we're ready to deal with. And we never bring up a memory or emotion that we can't deal with. It might be very difficult to work through. It might be painful. But when it comes to consciousness, that means we have the strength and the capability to work through it.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like a protective mechanism.
Yeah.
It's like our... Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's weird that, like, ourselves know ourselves to that point, but we don't know ourselves that we know ourselves that we know ourselves. Like, how does that work? Like, where's the disconnect between our conscious and our subconscious?
It's really exactly the way you put it. I couldn't have said it more accurately. We don't know so many things about ourselves. We just don't, because that's our subconscious that keeps us safe. It's think of it that way. Our subconscious knows exactly how much or how little information to reveal at each given moment in time. It's like our whole consciousness, our soul, our subconscious. I feel like there's so many different parts connected to that work with one another that we're not even aware of consciously.
Yeah.
And we just know. Like, and again, it's not something from here. That's why I love the psychosomatic work that I do.
Yeah.
Because when we are in talk therapy, everything comes from our neocortex, from our logical thinking brain. And there's only so much information that we have stored here. And it's not just so much information, there's only so much we can understand and process from here.
Yeah.
It's like, you ask me something that is very neocortical. It's like very logic. I want to understand that A equals B, or, but
Yeah.
it's not like that, because there's so many components. And the work that I do is, think about it, even as you and I are talking right now. If we were to pay attention what's happening in our bodies right now, you would notice that your body's holding in a certain way, or maybe something with your breath, or I can say, like, I feel some like pressure, tension in my chest right now. My heart rate is slightly elevated. There's things that are happening all the time as we're walking through life.
Oh, yeah.
And it's the same way, like when you're scared, you feel it in your body. You can even tell on someone else often. You can say, oh, that guy is really scared. Just by looking at them, you get a sense, a feel for that. And the same way when we're sad or happy. So everything is registered in our bodies and in our subconscious, in our emotional part of the brain. So we have the frontal cortex, and then we have the back part of the brain, which is where all of our feelings, emotions, memories get stored, that we don't necessarily have access to. It's also where we have those automatic reactions, where someone pushes your buttons and you suddenly react.
Yeah. Okay. Oh. So with your psychosomatic therapy kind of work, you listen to the body, correct? So for me, whenever you were talking about the talk therapy, it was like, oh yeah, it's definitely all up here. But for myself, a lot of my like deeper healing with myself, I have to verbally process everything. Like if I stay stuck in my head, I will dig a hole really quick and I don't really get out of it. But if I just talk out loud, it works. But I found that a lot of my answers come from my gut. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And I totally relate to what you say. I'm a verbal processor too. But you can verbally process and everything comes from here, or you can verbally process in connection to your gut, in connection to something deeper. Like you are in touch with other parts of your body and not just everything from here. It's a very different kind of processing.
Okay, so can you walk me through it exactly, and how would you describe it for those that don't know how to do it?
Give you a crash course of 25 years in a nutshell. To do a session on yourself.
Didn't think you were going to do that, huh? I mean, because a lot of people, whenever they hear like listen to your body or listen to your gut, one of the things that you kind of mentioned was like the fear. And the thing is that in my experience, excitement and fear are almost the exact same thing in my belly. You know, it's like, ooh, the butterfly feeling. It's like, oh, wait, crap, is this good or is this bad about to happen? Like, which one is it? And being anxious, I go like, okay, that's a bad feeling. We're going to go with everything red alert. We're going to stay on just like, you know, but at the same time, if it were something I was actually excited for, it pushes me away from opportunities. It closes doors before they are allowed to be presented, and so on and so forth. So how would you guide someone to differentiate between excitement and fear?
That's a very good question. I'm thinking how to answer that.
You're good. Because I mean, everyone's different, so
I'll talk about gut feeling first.
Okay.
Okay, because that's the first thing you brought up, and that's easier to answer.
Okay.
You know how sometimes you intuitively have like, should I do this or not? And intuitively something tells you, don't touch, don't go there.
Yeah.
And then your mind kicks in and says, come on, Keegan, it's not such a big deal. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fine. And your gut says, no, I really don't want to go there. That's not a good place for me. And your mind says, you know, it's going to be fun. You're going to see this and that. And, you know, your mind starts to play tricks on you and tries to convince you.
Mm-hmm.
That's the red sign.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Because our gut knows. That first instinct that we heard, even if it doesn't make sense to us in that moment, even if it's very inconvenient, and it's going to be much more embarrassing to say, hey, sorry, mom, dad, friend, whatever, I'm not coming for dinner. Because you know it's not a good place for you to hang out right now. And you just need to stay where you are.
Yeah.
But having that confrontation is so uncomfortable that you'll override that gut feeling and you'll go anywhere.
Yeah.
And it can be also regarding a job. Sometimes people will have like a queasy feeling about a certain person or a job. It can be on a date. You know, you go out with someone. So, oh my God, I have so many clients, you know, they go out on a date. And it's like, I usually see them like after the damage has been done. But whenever I take people back to that first date and I'll ask them, what was that like? And I really like, they reconnect to that first feeling. There were red flags all over the place.
Uh-oh.
But we choose to ignore them sometimes because that's just our pattern. Okay. That means we're not coping with the pain that's there. That means we're not, that is, you know, we keep reliving the same mistakes, the same kind of pain, the same kind of situations until we heal that root cause, that root belief that makes us relive the same situation over and over again, where we say, oh, I always end up in the same situation. There's a reason for that. And when we start observing and we start learning, and that becomes more important than the discomfort of actually facing the discomfort.
Yeah.
That's when things begin to change, when we start to break those patterns.
Gotcha. Huh. So, in reality, in your reality, essentially, that's how you were able to reclaim your power within yourself, right? Was to use that same kind of, you're uncomfortable dealing with it, but then you were able to face it eventually and break through. And then you even said that you were now able to cope with the pain, correct? And so coping is a form of healing, right?
Absolutely.
It's not just something that's like you're doing it to avoid it. You're actually coping, and it's actually a tool to process the pain, right?
I would even turn it around. I would say processing the pain
Mm-hmm.
and becoming present to the feelings and emotions and observing and learning and allowing yourself to feel it, you're coping.
Ooh. Oh, okay.
Uh,
Oh. Huh. Damn. I've been thinking of coping wrong this whole time. Huh. Hmm. That's interesting. So, if we're thinking about coping a little bit wrong, we're probably thinking about integration and pain a whole different way too, huh?
Probably. What do you mean by integration and pain?
Well, so one of the things with pain I've learned is that there's a growth mindset to it. Like, if there's something I can get out of it, then it was worth it, you know? But not necessarily every situation has that kind of situation to where it's like, hey, you can get something out of it, right? Or is there something that you can get out of pain inherently?
Again, I often play that game with clients. And I'll ask them, what do you gain by... That's the last one. I did one like that with a client a few days ago. I don't remember the exact situation, but it's like most basic, okay? What do you gain by being a victim? And what do you gain by not being a victim? And I wouldn't ask, what do you gain by not being the victim? I would ask, what do you gain by taking responsibility?
Ooh, okay, yeah.
Because being a victim is the opposite of taking responsibility. And you won't believe it, people have very long lists of why it's worthwhile being a victim. And even though they're suffering and they're a victim and people do bad things to them and they feel like, they're always a victim, but you get a lot of attention. The attention is a big thing. Okay, yeah. People feel sorry for you. People will do things for you. There's a lot of gains. You sort of like keep people in your area, like they feel guilty because you're a victim, so they feel guilty and they feel like they have to help you, they have to do certain things for you that they usually wouldn't do, but because it's poor you, they'll go out of their way to do things. So there's and everybody has their own reasons. It's not the same for everyone, but that's like the most common. And then if you'll ask them, what do you gain by taking responsibility? It helps the person to do like a switch in their brain. And by gaining responsibility, I can make healthier decisions. I can do this and that. I can do... And again, it's very individual, but it's like opening different parts of your brain and learning about yourself.
Okay. Huh. So, yeah, that would actually mean you're able to work with different aspects of yourself in different lights that you weren't able to previously see. But at the same time, you have to be able to trust yourself in what you're saying to yourself, right? Or you have to be able to trust what you're feeling with yourself, I guess, is the biggest thing.
Yes. And that can be very confusing. And I think that it's very helpful to also work with someone. I would not... I think there's a lot of work that we can do on our own. And then there's something about choosing to work with a therapist, someone who does guide you, someone who does reflect back to you, and someone who holds that frame, the energy for you as you process.
Yeah.
And guide you through it.
Yeah. Because it's one of those things that if we were able to get ourselves out entirely, we probably already would have,
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with that either, right? Wanting to help yourself out of a bad situation.
I think one is not instead of the other. We can work on ourselves and dedicate X amount of time every day, every week, whatever, works for the individual. Yeah. At the same time, also work with somebody else, work with a therapist to take you deeper, to take you to the next step.
Yeah.
I think together it works really well. When we do our own work, as well as work with someone.
Yeah. And I think you just said something that just kind of made my brain click. And I don't know if this is kind of what you're meaning necessarily, but essentially every action that we're doing, if we're choosing to be healing, can be a healing action.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's really all in the small things that really add up. We don't have to wait for that big therapy session to get healing underway. We can do everything that we need to do in between the big sessions, right?
Absolutely. It's like where your focus is.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You know, it's like when you buy a new car. You see that car everywhere in the street, don't you? It's like, oh my God, everybody's got the blue Mazda, whatever, you know?
Yeah.
It's everywhere. And it's like that with everything in our lives. It's like when you started your podcast, you probably suddenly met all sorts of people. Oh, you're also doing podcasts? Oh, really? What is your podcast about?
Yeah.
Because that's where your focus is. And it's like that with everything in life. When your focus is on healing, then you will attract, and the right people will come your way that will be able to help you heal. And all of your focus is on that part of like, okay, is this good for me? Will this help me? Yes, I think I would really like that. Or I need something else. I need some physical exercise that will be the right thing for me. So everything you will do is in that focus and of healing.
Okay.
Or buying a car, or whatever it is where your focus is in your life right now. Or for women getting pregnant. Like when I was pregnant, I have 4 kids. Every time I was pregnant, I would see everyone is pregnant. Like, oh my God, so many women are pregnant. They're there all the time, I'm sure, but I cannot see them in my everyday life.
That's fair. That is fair. It's really interesting how, depending on what we're focusing on, depends on what presents itself to us. And I think that it's really interesting that, you know, sometimes whenever we're thinking about those people that portray themselves as like light bringers or whatever, the ones that are like super into like I don't know how else to say it, but sometimes appearances are not necessarily what they are. And that's what kind of been my experience. Like if someone appears to be on that super healing journey, they're actually running from a lot more stuff, and they got to be a little bit more careful around them, you know? Because that just is my experience. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but I'm not saying that they're bad people. I'm just saying that they have patterns that they're unaware of in hurting other people around them while trying to heal themselves. And I think that that's something that a lot of us can do on accident, because we're centered on healing, but it doesn't have to necessarily be self-centered, right?
It's a really good point. And I have 2 things that come to mind. One is trust your intuition. And if you get a sense that that person, like, there's a lot of, yeah, look how great I'm doing to the outside world, and, you know, I've got it all under control. And your sensors say, hey, something doesn't feel good about this person, then trust that. That's number 1. And number 2, yes, being in this world for 25 years, I have met many people who are, it's almost like a healer's ego that develops for people. And you're not allowed to be flawed, and you have to have it all under control. And there is no such thing. There is no such thing. I can tell you, even me, after 25 years of doing this work on myself, and I never stopped my own healing process. And helping so many others heal on their journeys, there's always another layer to heal. And we never have all of the answers. Yes, we may be a lot wiser, we may have a lot more wisdom, but we never know it all. It's not possible.
Yeah.
And you know, when we lose our curiosity for learning and for growth, I think that's really where the key is. As long as we're hungry to learn and grow, there's always more room.
Yep. I agree 100%, and I love that. My father raised me with the saying that the moment you stop learning is the moment you start dying.
That's
essentially.
true.
And so, like, I try to learn literally at least one thing new every day. And if I don't, then I definitely feel like I didn't do something. But then I can reflect and be like, oh, yeah, I learned a little something about myself, you know? So there's that. But whenever, so you said that you don't really think that you can ever heal, like, you have all the answers. So do you think that you've hit that really close to 100% whenever you started your healing journey, whenever you first told your therapist you want to hit 100%?
I think I'm on my way. I still believe that I can do it.
Yeah.
If I can really do it, or if it's, I thought about it in the last year that I don't know if it's possible to heal 100%. I don't know if there is such a thing, okay? But I think what I understood in the last year is that maybe my 100% was my 100% dedication to healing.
Yeah.
And that that's where I have been, because especially for me and with my story, I can say if I wouldn't have had that, it was either I had to go extreme. It was either go die and kill myself that moment, or take all of that energy and redirect it to my 100% healing and put my 100% energy there. Otherwise, I knew I wasn't going to make it.
Yeah.
So I think that's a better answer to my 100% healing.
Yeah, I like that. And it also sounds like you're also saying you're going to do 100% of a layer at a time. You're not going to sit there and be like, all right, there's a little bit of that layer. I'm going a little bit deeper now.
I never really think of that 100%. I know I mentioned it here, and it was like in that turning moment in my life, that 100% really played a big role. But I never think of the 100% in my day-to-day.
Yeah, I think that that's a good thing to not do, because if I did that, which I'm really trying to break away from, trying to hit 100% on anything and everything all day, every day is a little bit overwhelming, if I have to say so myself.
Absolutely. And, I think as long as we give it our best, our 100%, even if it doesn't come out 100%, we gave it the best that we could. And I think that's what matters. It's not about perfection. I don't believe in perfection. There's no such thing.
Nah. And if we were to define perfect, I spoke with someone that put it in the form of everything is as perfect as it is in the moment, because there's not a further moment than right now. So everything in the moment is perfect because it can't be more complete than what it already is.
I like that.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, hold up. I was like, wait a minute. So you're saying I'm perfect as I am right now? Because, okay, hold up. It kind of like flipped everything on the head for me, because it's like, true, it's not 100. It's not the idea of what I have in my head for expectations. And that's where I find myself really tripping up, is having expectations on myself, on others, and on others on me, and so on and so forth. It's just one of those weird things, expectations. And I think that you're actually handling like expectations of yourself and others extremely well.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, because healing is, you've nailed it. You've said it many times. It's highly individual, and you're highlighting the aspects of getting outside perspective, but also listening to your body and being able to differentiate, like, hey, this is good, this is not good, so on and so forth. I didn't realize I just did that with my roses. So don't want to do that again. But man, what is something that you would like to have told yourself in the past? Like, what part of you still needs to hear a little something from this conversation even?
Good question.
Because I know
I
for
don't
mine,
know. Yeah, go ahead. What's from yours?
for mine, it would be that it's still okay to not be okay sometimes. You know,
Uh,
that's what I'm really getting out of this conversation is that it's okay to not be okay.
And that's a lot of what I would have needed to hear. And my husband kept reminding me because at first, when I first stepped on that journey, I said, okay, once I'm going to deal with that, I'm going to be okay. And that's going to be the end of my healing journey.
Uh-huh.
And he would always look at me and would say, you know,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be like that. It's an ongoing thing, maybe. And I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't able to do that at first. I needed to
Mm-hmm.
have goals
Yeah.
because my work was so overwhelming. My workload of healing was so big that
Mm-hmm.
I had to set like goals. Okay,
Yeah.
once I reach that, then I'm going to be fine. And then obviously, you work out one thing, and then the next thing obviously shows up right behind that door.
Yep.
So it took me a long time to understand that it's okay. And like you said, it's okay not to be perfect. It's okay not to be 100% healed.
Mm-hmm.
It's all right. It's a journey. And I
Yeah.
wish I would have known that in the beginning, that it's okay and it's a journey. And it's going to take as long as it's going to take, and it's probably going to take me a whole lifetime. And that's
Mm-hmm.
okay too. And
Yeah.
there's something about being on the journey.
Mm.
And I think that's what I love most about working with my clients. I love the process. I love seeing how they evolve and transform their lives and how they first come in, and the work that I do is relatively fast, like shifting through. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
People really within a much shorter time frame than with other therapies that I've tried out and
Mm-hmm.
experienced, can shift and move a lot of issues in their lives and transform them. And
Ooh.
I just love that. It brings me tremendous joy.
Yeah. And you get to see the essentially the light in people's eyes come back to life, or that epiphany moment. Yeah, and you can't really put a price on that kind of thing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So real quick, shout out for yourself. People can find you at naomimorad.com, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
here we go. And what all do you help people with necessarily?
Anxiety, depression, sexual abuse, any kind of abuse, eating disorders, sleeping disorders, chronic pain.
You name it, you got it.
Yes, because it doesn't really matter what a person comes with.
Mm-hmm.
Because the way I work, I help them heal the root cause of why they're addicted today, why they have eating disabilities, why they can't find a partner, why relationships are not working out. When we heal the root cause, that's when we heal the problem.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter for each one of us. It will present itself in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But at
Yeah.
the end of the day, when we heal the root cause of the pain and we heal those parts that are still frozen in trauma, that's when our lives begin to shift and transform.
Yeah. Okay. That root cause is really the big thing for me, because I know that's how I got out of my addiction. And that's the thing, is that I think I found like a group of roots. And it's like I just have to get like one at a time. So I can't take them all out at once, and that's okay.
That's the only way. And that's what I spoke about before. It's working through the layers. You can't take all the roots out all at once. It's not possible. But it's one at a time.
Yeah. I think if we try to do that, we'd lose who ourselves is. That's not how you say that sentence. We'd lose who ourselves are. We'd lose the sense of ourselves. There we go.
Yeah. You would rip away your whole foundation all at once without having healed those different parts.
Yeah. It's weird the pain became the foundation upon which we built ourselves.
Yes.
I wonder why some people don't want to heal.
Yeah. We gained something by the pain.
Mm-hmm.
We gained something from that.
Damn. That sucks.
And that's okay. And as we heal, we transform that and we keep those parts that serve us and we let go of what doesn't serve us anymore.
Yep. Yep. And I think that that's still just a hard part, is figuring out what was it that served and what is it that does not serve anymore. Some people just have that guilty pleasure.
But even that can be healed.
There we go.
It's part of the healing process, that guilt.
Gotcha. Well, real quick, we are getting to the point where we're going to break off to our game show, if that's okay.
Sure.
All right. So, real quick, everyone out there, go to naomimorad.com to check out her website and all the things that she has to offer, because holy cow, if this conversation is this good, you've got to check out what she can do for you, because, oh man, like, I've taken away a lot of good stuff from this already, so I hope y'all have as well. But let's see. Today we are playing a game called Truth Fractals. So, Naomi, this next segment is called Truth Fractals. I'm going to offer you a single word or a short phrase, each one a tiny shard of the healing journey. And your job is to reflect back a single truth, an insight, or a little spark that shows us the depth of it. So think of it like catching light in a broken mirror. What truth still shines through?
Okay.
Are you ready to play?
I'm ready.
Alrighty. So, we'll start off with the prompt for forgiveness. What do you got for that?
Forgiveness. When we think of forgiveness, we often think about forgiving others and the inability to forgive those that hurt us. But from the work I do, it's very, like, the more we heal ourselves, the more we can forgive ourselves. And the more we forgive and heal our own parts, the anger and the rage that we feel towards those that have hurt us just starts to disintegrate. It's like magic.
Okay. So work on forgiveness of self.
Yeah. And work of forgiveness of self is really working through the layers of pain that we carry.
Okay. Ooh, I like that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 2, body.
Body.
Yep.
Every tissue, every issue is in the tissue.
Every issue is in the tissue. I like that.
Yeah.
So you're saying that you can definitely work through your whole body to release some pain.
That means that every emotion, every trauma, everything is registered in our bodies as well. So we have to, that's why there's no difference for me if someone comes with a physical issue or they come with emotional issues. Because the physical issue is just another translation of emotional stuckness of some kind.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. Look at that. Learning something else new. Love it. Number 3, silence.
Silence. I like silence. I think silence, there's many things with silence. Silence, meditation, being in silence, silencing the mind. When we have to talk all the time or fill our space with noise or having the TV running all the time or being on the phone all the time, it comes instead of being with something else. That means it comes instead of feeling what part of you wants you to hear and feel. Like we keep pushing those voices, those parts aside. And they will keep pushing again and come out through illness, through restlessness, through other ways. So there's a lot to say about silence.
Oh, okay. We'll have to revisit that someday.
All right.
All right. Number 4, voice.
What comes for me with voice is that every part of us has a voice. Every younger part that is frozen in pain has a voice. Our anger has a voice. Our sadness has a voice. Our shoulder pain has a voice. Every part has a voice. And when we start listening, that's where we start healing.
Ooh, I like that. Thank you. This one. Number 5, safety.
Safety. Safety is not something outside of us, but something that we create inside of us.
Okay. I like that a lot. Number 6, dissociation.
Lifesaver.
Okay.
Only happens in order to save our lives. There's a reason for dissociation, and when we're ready to look at the things that we have dissociated from, that means we're ready to deal with it. And sometimes we never will, and sometimes we do it in bits and pieces.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that. Thank you.
Welcome.
Number 7, power.
I think that a lot of our power gets stuck in pain and fear and sadness that holds us back from expressing that power that we all have within. And I truly believe we all have that power inside of us. And again, that's just my world. The more we heal, the more we get in touch with that power that is within each and every one of you.
Oh, man. I've never thought about it that way. Powers being stuck in your pain. Ooh, I like that. All right. Number 8, motherhood.
I love motherhood. Motherhood. Best thing that ever happened to me being a mom. So much to learn, so much to grow, so much to love, so much love to receive. And again, so much healing, because every button your kids push in you, and they will push, I don't know if you have children, but they will push every single button that can be pushed inside of you. When you're willing to look instead of fight back, wow. Limitless.
Ooh, limitless. That's a really good word. I like that. All right. Number 9, and we'll make this the last one for today. Choice.
Choice is a big one, because I think there's a lot of confusion about what choice actually means.
Okay.
And the only choice we have is how we show up in everything we do. I cannot control what's happening outside of me, but I can choose the way I react to the circumstances that are thrown at me.
Yeah.
So that's where we have choice.
Okay.
It's who we are in everything that we do and what we do with it.
Okay. That's a really good way to reframe choice and to look at it in the way that we have power with our choice. I like that. So, Naomi, since you have played our game of truth fractals and you've helped us answer some needed verbiage in our healing process journey, then you have pardon me, you have earned the honorary title of the Mirror Breaker for Retrieving Sanity, because healing doesn't start until the mirror breaks.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. I hope it's a fitting title, but I do have one more question for you.
Sure.
The name of this podcast is Retrieving Sanity, and we explore how all facets of living life impact mental health. Looking at the incredible motley adventures of your life, what does retrieving sanity personally mean to you today, and what's one practice or perspective that you believe is crucial for anyone on that journey?
Retrieving sanity really appeals to me, that wording, because for many years I was afraid. My biggest fear at the beginning of my journey, and when I say the beginning, the first 10 years, was to go insane.
Yeah.
That the pain was going to be so overwhelming that I was going to lose it. I was going to lose my sanity. So, and then it's funny, like one of the therapists I worked with, or actually he's one of the teachers I studied with, and he says, the person that is afraid of losing their sanity is not the one that's losing their sanity. Because the one that's losing his sanity wouldn't even think that he might be insane.
Mhm.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So be a little bit mindful of your sanity and you won't lose it, right?
Keep on healing, and
Yeah.
you'll learn, and through the healing you will regain your power that we spoke about.
Mhm.
And losing sanity is not going to be an issue anymore. You're basically retrieving your sanity with every step of the way of your healing.
Okay. I love that. Maybe we need to like make that the little tagline or something on the website or something.